Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
A Kingsport mother is still missing. Layla Santanello has been missing since June 27, 2023. Witnesses state that she ran from the AmeriCorps Hotel the day before. My friend Chronicles of Olivia and I, we have been here several times searching for Layla Santanello, which bring us to places like this abandoned golf course facility. Many places like this exist across Kingsport, Tennessee, making it very difficult to find where Layla's whereabouts could be. It's places like this that keep us concerned. Where could Layla Santanello be? Is she out there somewhere? The details Chronicles of Olivia and I have found out are highly disturbing, and I can tell you, based on the information we've heard and learned, someone knows something. Where is Layla Santanello? Will anyone come forward? Will anybody be willing to tell the truth? Will anyone stand up and help the Santanello family? After running several stories about Layla Santanello, several people came forward. One of the last places Layla was seen was in this field, coming out of the woods. We have searched everywhere. We have posted flyers all over Kingsport, Tennessee, seeking answers in the disappearance of Layla Santanello. We're asking anybody with any information to please come forward. We're doing our part to search for Layla Santanello. We need the community's help. We're asking anybody and everyone, please come forward if you have any information about Layla Santanello or the people she was with the afternoon of June 27th. We are doing our part. Are you willing to do yours? Has mainstream media given up on the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers? Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. According to his mother, Katie Proudfoot, she put Sebastian to bed at 9 p.m. She heard a thud at 10 that she didn't look in on, and she went to bed at midnight. The next morning, Sebastian was gone. People have been poking a lot of fun at the Proudfoots, and I think the public just wants to know what's going on in the case. After 8 days that Sebastian was gone, finally the Proudfoots went to the media to ask for public help in finding their son. But their answers and their behaviors on that very interview started making people feel very uncomfortable about what may have transpired inside that home and what may have happened to Sebastian Rogers. We're also learning from posts from Katie herself that law enforcement knows everything that they do. And it leaves a lot of people to question, this is a missing person. When have our parents ever been under constant surveillance in a missing person case? Chris Proudfoot was seen with deep scratches and abrasions, and some people believe impressions of bite marks on his arm some 8 days after Sebastian disappeared. It's getting to the point where we don't know if Sebastian will ever be found, but we still have hope that we can bring him home. But when I go to see what news has come out from mainstream media related to Sebastian Rogers, there's nothing here. Has mainstream media given up on this case? Let me know your thoughts. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and I hope you enjoyed this content. Please don't forget to like and share it. And if you really love Bullhorn Betty and don't want to miss anything, consider becoming a subscriber, or better, support the channel by becoming a monthly partner with our membership program. God bless.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
What is up, my beautiful people of YouTube and X? It's nice to see you. Oh, yeah, it's Monday. It's Monday, Manic Monday. Golly, you guys are in a pee-poor mood this morning. Boo! Boo-hoo! Good morning. Happy Manic Monday. It's nice to see everybody out there as we get you guys off to work. Hi-ho, hi-ho. It's off to work we go. Good morning, Jen. It's nice to see you, Angel, as always. It's beautiful to have you here. Tulips is up in the house. It's nice to see you, my love. Robin, Miss Karen is up in the house. Nice to see you. Don, 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 don. Blessed is in the house. It's nice to see you. Lisa, be inspirational. So, Nina, MJ, GE girl, Amanda. It's nice to see you, little Miss South and Stephanie. Who else? We got a lot of people up in the house this morning. I see Crime Stories Obsessed in here. Hey, it's nice to see ya. Good to see ya. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I know we had such a large intro coming in. So, Melly Cat, thank you for being the newest member of this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club. We are a little crazy. Shake the tree and see how many nuts fall out. Well, this morning we got 175 so far. It's nice to see you all here this morning. All right, guys. So, just kind of the intro, we can't forget about Layla Santanello. Layla Santanello was a 20-year-old girl that had a lot of problems. She had, she had a grandfather leave. Her father was living in a different state. She had a boyfriend she was trying to save, and she got caught up in some stuff. Next thing you know, her life is spinning out of control, and she's terrified at a really shitty hotel. And people describe her as poking around the corners, obviously in fear. When people were trying to help her, she started backing up and running away. She was so scared she fell. People were trying to help her up. And so she took off for the woods next to the hotel. And people believe she stayed the night in the woods. We do have a witness that watched a young lady matching her description walk out of the woods with dirt on their shoulders as if they slept in the woods. They were looking for a cigarette that morning. They ran off onto the greenbelt. And after that, another young lady was seen at the Marble Slab Creamery, running away from her husband. No shoes, and the same description, general description as Layla Santanello, 2 different people. So, again, we don't know what's going on in Layla Santanello's case. We know that her boyfriend has been arrested for some things that her boyfriend sent to her mother, demanding money. But other than that, nobody has seen her since. I think the last time anybody saw her was June 27th. Was it June 27th? The hotel hasn't seen her since June 26th, but we have one witness. But I keep wondering, because there was another lady matching Layla's description in the same general area a few hours later, running from her husband. No shoes in general. Did she sleep in the woods? Was that Layla? Was there 2 separate incidences that looked similar? I don't know. Oh, thank you, little Miss South. God bless you. God bless you. So we've got a lot of questions. That's just it, really, I had for Layla Santanello. I just wanted to let you guys know she still has a mom, and a daughter that's missing her. I think Sonia is still raising money. We were going to get a large gift item for Nova Grace for her birthday, and I know her birthday has already passed, but we're still trying to get her that big ticket item for her birthday. So if anybody would like to help out, I think Sonia's in the chat. Sonia, if you would like to post that link, that Amazon link for whatever toy it was, that would be great. I believe, and you are still collecting for that, right? We still never raised the money for it. I think we've got a little bit of money in there, but not as much as we need for the item. Yeah, we raised, hold on, for one big gift item, but don't we have another one? I thought we did. I'll let Sonia, if Sonia has the link and there is something there, she'll throw it down. If not, then it sounds like we may have met her. Yes. She says yes. I don't know what yes means. I asked so many questions in rapid fire. I don't know what yes you're talking about. That's okay. I'll let them deal with it. If they need some stuff for Nova Grace, she'll throw the link down. If they don't, they don't. The swing set and trampoline. Okay, so we got one of them and not the other, I think is what it is. Yeah, we're trying to get the other the other present. Okay, so we do still have a link. Go ahead and drop that link down then, Sonia, and we'll let everybody know that there's a link. So if they want to go over there and throw a couple bucks. Perfect. Thank you. So we have a lot of people, obviously people like, giving some perspective. And I know we don't spend a lot of time on here for perspective purposes. Oh, Curly, it's nice to see you. Yes, you got me live. Good morning. I see Karen up in the house. Sepsis, Sonia, my mod squad. It's nice to see you here this morning. QRB PB, it's nice to see you as well. I know there's a lot of people I glossed over, so good morning, everybody. There it is. Sonia's got it up right there. So if you guys would like to help get a gift for, this was, we got two major items for Nova Grace. We were only able to get her one of those items. So I guess it looks like we're going to be doing a swing set for her. So if anybody would like to help out, again, it's for Layla Santanello's daughter. Her name's Nova Grace, just a beautiful, apple of her grandma's eye, right? Still looking to find her mommy. She hasn't seen her mommy since she left. So, but the good news is like just a month before, she got to spend an entire day with her mom for Mother's Day. So, but it's just sad because she was so young. I don't know if she's ever going to remember it. I hope she does. So Susan had wrote, is this the one I wanted to say? No, I'll wait for that one. That might be just a little too much right at the moment. So Donna, just my thoughts. If you have thought of and moved on to other thoughts, just disregard. Specifically, CP's work Monday at 6:26, which is February 26th. This is the morning that Sebastian went, that disappeared. If anybody doesn't know, this is Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic boy that went missing literally from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. According to his mother, she put him down at 9 p.m. When she woke up at 6 a.m., he was gone. He has not been seen or heard from since. There has been no credible sightings of this boy since February 25th. And so we're still trying to find any and all information related to his whereabouts and or disappearance. So if anybody can help, if you know any information about any party involved, the Bowersox, the Proudfoots, the Rogers, right? Please call in to 1-800-TBI-FIND, 1-800-TBI-FIND with any and all credible leads related to Sebastian Rogers. So this is related to CP. CP is Chris Proudfoot, and he is the stepfather. He's the one that's in the green shirt over here, and he's the stepfather of Sebastian Rogers, which went missing. We learned through this process, many of us thought that Chris may have been home at the time of Sebastian's disappearance. And we're learning through credible fact-finding that it appears that this truly is a case where Chris Proudfoot did not come home on that weekend, that we can tell. If he did come home, it wasn't planned and nobody saw it, okay? He appears to have started his job at 5:15 on the 26th, the morning that Sebastian was reported missing. There were, according to the statements made by Katie and Chris, there was a 3-hour conversation the night of the 25th after Sebastian went to bed. It's a little odd, she says she carried on this 3-hour conversation while studying for college. I don't know how many people are in here that are doing continuing education. I personally found it difficult to carry on conversations while studying, but, I don't know. I guess the people that are now, doing the same type of thing would be the only ones with the knowledge of that as to whether that theory holds water or not, but that's what was told to us. And Chris, according to the investigators for Seth at the time, it was stated that it had been confirmed that Christopher Proudfoot was at his work by 5:15 in the morning. So I like this. This is a timeline type of question, perspective that I thought was interesting. Good morning, I am Team Summer. It's nice to see you. Stephanie, it's nice to see you as well. And so I thought that this was good. So what was the actual scheduled report time? Provided 5:15 is confirmed. For instance, I was supposed to be at work and ready to operate the crane at 6 a.m. Why did he arrive at 5:15? Same, only even more questionable if his shift starts at 7. Do they clock in at work? Does the crane actually report operational time? Do coworkers, etc., validate his stated time of arrival and leaving that day? I'm sure his CP employer would not confirm anything about him, much less information from that day, but coworkers might. So I thought that was interesting, and we have been, having the drumbeat that we would love to have coworkers, come up and talk to us, give us some insight and some information. So if there is a coworker out there, they want to be confidential, they don't want to be on the record, they don't want to have their voice on a phone recording, but they do have a story to tell and are willing to corroborate they are who they are to me confidentially, then I would be willing to listen to their story related to this. I have heard, this is what I heard, and this was from a coworker that we saw provide a text message or a message in one of the groups, but I really don't trust a lot of stuff, because people that do their due diligence would be able to locate these people's names fairly quickly, and therefore create accounts. And if I can't look at the account to see when the account was, and even some people, believe it or not, as crazy as this sound, have troll accounts just to change names and pictures and stuff like it. I don't understand why people do this, but I'm not lying when I say this. I've seen it all. I've seen it all when it comes to stuff like this. So I'm very, very cautious about things. And people are like, why aren't you talking about this? Why aren't you talking about that? Because I don't know where the information came from, and I can't corroborate it. All I can really say is rumor has it. Right? Rumor has it. And that's really it. And so rumor had it that Chris didn't start his crane job, according to a post in one of these groups, until 7 a.m. And we're missing a boy. And if that is true, if all of that is true, again, I got to say if all that is true, because I haven't corroborated it. And if I haven't corroborated it, it's kind of hard for me to say 100% certainty, because I don't know I can assume other people's work is good, and I can assume other people's hearts are great, and nobody would do this. But, at the end of the day, people are very clever and kind of sometimes can fake it on the best of the best, right? So was he there at 7, or did his job start at 6? But even if it started at 6, he was there at 5:15. What did he do for 45 minutes? Would anybody, even on a job site that big, would anybody even notice Chris moving about? I mean, let's face it, Chris looks like a construction worker. I bet you there's like freaking 10 or 15 of him lookalikes on his job. So, are there cameras there? Are there not cameras? I don't know. But one good thing that we do have, and I think we learned this from Tony Mathis, the new spokesperson for Seth Rogers. I think that he was on I remember seeing I want to say a live. I think it was a live, but I can't remember if it was on TikTok or YouTube, where he was talking about the cranes. And he says the cranes record all of your movements. And I'm sure it's a safety thing, because think about it. I mean, those tower cranes, they have some, they take thousands of pounds of weight of like concrete posts and stuff like that. If something came crashing down, or somebody, hurt themselves, or God forbid lost their life on a construction job, those things are just like any other machine. They have to be, everything has to be recorded. So I have a funny feeling, good morning guys, good morning. So I have a funny feeling it is recorded. I mean, I really do believe law enforcement does have these answers, okay? So don't think that we're throwing these out here and law enforcement doesn't have, these answers seem like they would be very easy for law enforcement to get their hands on, to know exactly when he arrived at work, to know exactly when he put his butt on that seat inside that tower crane, and what transpired. And I'm confident that anybody that had contact with him that day on that job site has been questioned. I absolutely 100%, without a doubt in my mind, believe law enforcement does have those tidbits of information, because those would be the easiest for law enforcement to obtain. They don't have to wait for it. They go up to the job, they flash a badge in front of somebody's face, and they're willing to help law enforcement, especially when it comes to a missing kid. I don't see a company or corporation, because it's up to them. They can say, no, I'm not going to release this without a court order, or they can be compliant and release it. It's up to that company. And I don't see any kind of company, especially one that's working on St. Jude's and getting federal tax dollars, I don't see them really wanting to piss off law enforcement. So I have a funny feeling that they're cooperating in the investigation. Okay? Without a doubt. I absolutely believe his business is without a doubt, cooperating in this investigation. Now, is Chris working or is he not? To be honest with you, I really don't know. You know, he's telling everybody he's working, which gives us a new layer of why did he have to go pick up his camper the next day and be gone for 17 hours. Well, I don't know if it was really the next day. It sounds like they asked law enforcement the next day, and I have to imagine that he was gone by either the 27th or the 28th. I have a funny feeling he left the 28th, but it sounds like he was back by the 29th at minimum, but I don't know. That's just an assumption on my part, because what was actually said in that interview is that, you know, he asked law enforcement, he got permission from law enforcement to go get his camper, and that he had to go 3.5 hours away. It took him, I mean, I have to calculate it, 10 hours to pack up his camper. I mean, the camper's not that big. You see their house. I don't think Chris is a slob. He's military. I'm sure everything is probably put in its own place just naturally, just by the way he normally behaves. He probably is one of those people that takes something out and puts it right back. My opinion. I don't know how true that is. Right? So I just don't believe that it took him that long to pack up a camper, and here's why. One of the things I can tell you is I travel a lot. A lot. Okay? I am a slob. Okay? I don't clean up after myself very well, especially when I'm short on time, right? If I get up in the morning and I got to run out the door, guess what? My clothes are going to be laying on my bed. My bed's not going to be made, and I'm going to be out the door, and I'm going to come back that night, right? And then I'm probably going to come back that night with some work to do, and then naturally my work gets on my bed, right? So at the end of the day, I am not a military trained person. I am a slob that used to live ungratefully under a wonderful mother that did everything for me, okay? So without my mommy on the road with me, I am a slob. I don't see Chris Proudfoot being a Betty. And I can tell you, being a Betty would not take me this many hours to clean up a camper that size and get on the road, especially 3 hours away. It would have taken me maybe at tops 2 hours to get everything packed up, maybe 3 tops, depending on how bad it is. Tops. So you're there, you get there, 3.5 hours, another 3 hours. So in 6 hours, technically, you could technically be on the road. This should have been a 9-hour tour. 10 at best. And he stayed the night. And was gone for over 17 hours to go pick up a camper with a missing kid. Like, I would be like, if I had a missing kid that I loved, and I absolutely had to go back and get my camper, you know what I do? I'd pick everything up, shove it where it could go, and got on the road. Threw it in. If it breaks, it breaks. If it gets smashed, it's smashed. If it gets dirty, I'll clean it when I get home. I've got a child missing, and my job's being, a-holes, right? Let me just get this to you guys. I mean, I believe if Chris was ticked off enough, he's just going to throw anything anywhere and just get on the road. You know, F this, right? So that's the problem I'm having, is because we know his personality. We've seen his personality. He's a grumpy man at best. He's not a happy man. He's not. This man, in his body, in his mind, and in his soul, is not a happy man. He may put on a smile here and there and be okay. But for me, my opinion of him, and Katie for that matter, is that they're not happy people. They're not happy. They're miserable people. And they have and no matter how much they try to fill their life up with stuff, they're miserable. They're miserable. They're miserable in their marriage. They're miserable in their life. They were miserable dealing with a lot of the stuff that came along with an aging and growing autistic boy that had a lot of problems, more than just autism and a chromosome deletion syndrome. It sounds like he had a lot of things going on with his poor little body. And this brings me over to Deb's email that says, I'm still wondering why nobody has mentioned that with the problems Sebastian has with his head, why Katie didn't show more concern over the thud she heard. Now, I have to be honest with you. This is a lot of people have been in my chat, not just here on YouTube, not just in my emails, but also in my TikTok and on my TikTok lives. But here's the kicker. What brain problem are they talking about? Because, I knew he had the chromosome deletion. You guys know I've been studying this case for quite some time, and I know that you guys have been watching other channels that had interviews and stuff on them with different people. And I have not seen all the interviews, especially all the new ones Chris and Katie are in, because they're on a specific channel that is at best is appalling to me. It's hard for me to watch. I got to be honest with you. And so I'm trying to listen to it, but it's just really, really awful. And one of the first things in there was like, if you guys are mean to anybody, you're booted. You're not even getting a warning. You're just getting kicked out. And it's like, okay, but you just talked about my female parts all over your program. Is that not disgusting and nasty? Did you block yourself, bitch? Just wondering, asking for me. Just asking for me. And trust me, my lady parts, honey, after looking at you, look pretty nice. Just saying. I don't know. Look a lot closer together than yours. But hey, let me move on. This Christian lady with a Christian mouth of mine, right? God forgive me. But that was deserving. That was deserving. Also, somewhere I heard Katie actually had taken 2 polygraphs, not just one. Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no. And we'll get to the polygraphs in just a second, because the second one hasn't been corroborated. She didn't deserve that one. Like, don't be, you know what? The lady part, trust me, you don't want to go there with my lady parts, okay? Because mine are pure snow, okay? So you better watch that. I don't know, this is all in my opinion except anything. Amy knows about my dad and his work on a crane. Again, not one that big though. I guess I'm coming into a middle. Let me see here what it says. He may not be allowed to. All companies are different and different policies, but I'm still kind of stuck on how he was on the phone while operating. Doesn't make sense. That's a good point. He, you know what? And he also said he had the walkie-talkie in one ear and his phone in the other ear. So he was listening to somebody in his one ear while his wife was screaming in his other ear. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how all that works. I have to think that if you're in a tower crane, you got to have some type of communication with somebody that's directing you. I have to think that. I mean, am I correct about that? They would have to have somebody helping direct, where they're placing the crane and, the stuff, I would think. So they'd have to be in constant communication with somebody down, ground level. I would think. Yeah, it was pretty despicable. But you know what? This is the way when you have to start going to insults to prove your point, you've lost. I mean, you've lost the argument. So anybody that goes directly to, like, when you're debating on the issues and then they start insulting you, you won the argument. I mean, period. Because if nobody needs to insult anybody. The only people that insult people are childish people that just lost an argument. That's how I know. That's how I know. And so don't worry about it. Like if people start insulting you, take it as a compliment, They have nothing. Like that's all they got. Ah, 4 eyes. Right? Well, that's not actually true. It went this way and that way. What are you talking about? I'd like you to show some receipts. Oh, you're blah, 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 blah. Okay. Have a good day. Come back when you got them receipts. Don't worry, I'll be a 4 eyes until you get back here. Have a great day. God bless. Bye. So getting to the one, I don't know about the brain. I'm going to sit here and watch. I'm going to go up here and see if anybody talked to me. Does anybody know about a brain injury he had? Sebastian, I'm referring to Sebastian Rogers. Does he have a brain injury of some sort that I'm unaware of, that I must have overlooked? I know he's got a lot of, issues, but the main thing that I knew about was his chromosome deletion and the autism. But I knew that there were other things because I remember I didn't know. I feel like there were other things because I remember in a court document that I read that it seemed like it implied that there was some other thing, but I couldn't remember what the other issue was. How are you talking to your wife who self-describes her condition as being panicked and unable to call the police? Talking out of both sides of their mouth, talking out of both sides of them. But you know what? Somebody keeps it, this is where I do have to be honest with everybody here. You guys watch me on here a lot, right? I mean, seriously, a lot. You guys see me, I talk on here and I use third person, second person. Sometimes I use first person, right? Very rarely. And it's all for a purpose. And I'm not going to get into the purpose of why I do what I do, but, I say, because Bullhorn Betty, yes, I am my AKA is Bullhorn Betty, but Bullhorn Betty is more than just me, right? So I say we a lot, and we can refer to different things. For example, I may say we as in the team, which means me and the mods. I may say we as Bullhorn Betty, as collective, as the whole entire channel. But even when I'm in my normal conversations, say with other people, I accidentally say we instead of I, right? It's just something that rolls off my tongue because of the show. There's a lot of times when I say we, that it's just me, right? So it really does depend. And the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people are being hooked up on I and we. And I personally have this problem myself. And you guys know when I roll, it's just me, right? It's just me. Typically, when I do roll, I meet people out. So I collaborate with other creators and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's me. But you always hear me say we. And again, for a variety of reasons, whether I'm talking about the channel, whether I'm talking about the team, it just really depends. But it's usually I talk about we. I just wanted to point that out because I've been seeing a lot of people splitting hairs, and actually not just splitting hairs, like really being nasty to each other over something like I and we. And I usually say we, even when I'm referring to me. Okay? So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. Be nice to people. We don't know what happened in this case, folks. We don't know what happened. I'm very opinionated. I have my opinion on what happened based on my experiences, based on me covering these cases. Those are ever changing, right? I mean, we were focused on Chris. Now that we have more information about Chris and Katie's, whereabouts and stuff like that, I'm focusing more on Katie. It's how these theories work. We develop theories, and as information come out, we start finding out which theories hold the most weight or the most water, and we start developing those theories. And the ones that don't hold much weight and much water, we keep them on the list, but we don't really focus on them until something comes up where we can now look at them and engage that theory. This one is one where we have Chris and Katie Those were the two people that lived in the home with Sebastian. However, Chris was gone to work. And Katie's being quiet. Katie's the one running away from home. Moms don't run away from homes. I don't care if the man gets pissed off or what happens. The moms don't leave home. Okay? When their babies are missing, they don't leave home. She left home. So her behavior is behavior that is problematic for me for a variety of reasons, especially when you come here and look at the world in the face and say your son walked out the front door. And while there may not be any information, we're learning that law enforcement hasn't done any forensics on anything. Now, how true is that today? This is the way I look at it. It sounds like there's a lot of neighbors in the neighborhood that are keeping people anonymously up to date on information. At least that's what we were led to believe, right? There may be some people that are, creating their own news. I don't know. But I can just tell you that from what I'm hearing, nobody has seen their house get taped up. They go through, I'm telling you, I have watched many forensic searches of homes. It's very noticeable. There's a lot of vehicles. They tape up everything. You see bags going over windows. It is a very noticeable process. It's not something that's going to be done quietly. Now, would they go into the home at night so they don't have to do all that? Yeah, they could. But you also will have massive amounts of spotlights being set up in and around the home, because they've got to search and they've got to look at it. In my opinion, they would probably want to do this during the day, not at night. But again, we're not seeing the massive activity in front of their home that would identify that there has been this forensic event that happened at their home, this forensic investigative event that happened at their home. So it is my belief if it didn't happen earlier in the investigation, then it hasn't happened. And that's problematic for me. It's problematic for me because we obviously have some history in court records. The problem I have, and I brought this up early on this show, is that we had court records that identify that Sebastian, when he got upset, he would do self-harm. And I brought it up early on in this case, is that a way that they could hide abuse of this child, is by saying, by hurting this child and saying he has a history of self-harm and get away with it. It is a problem for me when I hear stuff like this, and I hear that a child has had a history of self-harm. It does create a pocket for abuse, hidden abuse. Because now from this point forward, any bruise, any cut, any markings, he did it to himself. And it's sad. Because what has happened to him? He's gone. There's obviously something going on in this house. He disappeared under his mother's watch from his own bed. After being described what was a very loving, eventful, and joyous day. Yet the only positive, joyous thing that she can say with certainty is that he enjoyed his colossal popcorn. I thought she would be more focused on their fun time at Strikes and Spares. Man, he rolled his best bowling game ever, or we had he was a little upset that he didn't bowl very well, but we put the bumpers up, and he had a much better time getting the ball down there. He really enjoyed his day. We played like 3 or 4. Like, he enjoyed his day. Why did she give all the thing on the popcorn? Why was the popcorn so important, but not the fun that they had at Strikes and Spares, or Spares and Strikes, or whatever the bowling alley name is? I would have probably focused on that part, right? If you have an eventful day with your children and end it with Chuck E. Cheese, do you talk about the walk in the park? Or do you talk about Chuck E. Cheese? You know? It was just odd for me. It's just odd for me. And then there's this one here, and this is kind of dovetails right into my conversation about, insults, right? Insults. And this one says, someone made a comment on one of my Sebastian Rogers pages making fun of my grammar or my spelling. And she says, grow the F up already. It's not about how I spelt it. It's about Sebastian. If you have a problem with me or my spelling, you can scroll the F on, right? Oh, but when Seth Rogers says something like that, right? We got to down with Seth. No, everybody's getting tired of it, and I did respond and basically said, what I told you guys this morning. If they're literally insulting you, then you already won the argument. Like if there was a question or a debate there, as soon as the insults start flying, the conversation's won. The conversation's won. I would just put a laughy emoji and a cry emoji, because you're laughing at them being a crybaby, right? They just, don't engage. I'm going to tell everybody in all this stuff, don't engage with this hate. I got to tell you, when I engage in bad behavior myself on here because of somebody's bad behavior, it doesn't make me feel better. It makes me feel icky. And it makes me feel like I just stooped to their level. And that's not any place that I really want to be, So what I'm going to say to my audience here and in the future and in other people's panels, respect what goes on in their chats. If they ask you not to do something, don't do it, right? If you don't like their rules, leave the chat. It's their house, follow their rules. Be respectful to people. I think that our society has gotten to the point where we are so disrespectful and have no value for one another or our opinions that it's getting to be unbearable on these streets. Nobody has a right to tell anybody else what to say or do, just like you do not have the right to tell anybody else what to say or do. You are in control of your own personal behavior. Nobody else is in control of it. How you choose to behave is your choice. You either go with the crowd or you go against the crowd. Okay? Either position you take, do it respectfully. We are all grown adults here, and I'm watching our children get worse and worse and worse. And I have to think that it's based upon the adults' behavior, all of our behavior. These are true crime cases. We're here to help. We're here to advocate. And I think it's time for everybody to learn to respect one another, their opinions, and who they are as a person. If you have to engage in insults, you've lost your argument. Debate on the facts, not the people. We are all in this boat together. We all matter in this world, okay? Nobody is better than anybody else. Unless you want to be Skid Row, right? Then you put yourself there. I know. I put myself there, and I pulled myself out of there. So this idea that we're going to continue to engage in bad behavior, we're not going to do it. When it comes into this chat, ignore it. Let the mods deal with it. If there's somebody in here you have a personality conflict, you can personally block them so you see none of their comments while you're in this chat. It's all about being adults. We have children to find. This child has been missing for almost 90 days. And when we start focusing on each other more than the victim, we've got some serious problems on these streets that I refuse to engage in. So I hope that, when we have these discussions, that you guys can be adults and you guys can be part of the conversation for whatever your position is. And for everybody else, treat everybody with respect. Okay? And even if somebody does say something a little off the cuff, give them a little grace here, because you don't know what kind of day somebody's having. Maybe they just decided to vent before they socked the lights out of their coworker, right? Maybe they used the chat for a little bit of a punching bag this particular morning. Don't just attack. Nah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you live without responding? And if you can't live without responding, then just say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. All right, guys, I love you. We're going to turn the phones on now that I'm done with my dissertation on better behavior. I really hope people start cleaning their own behavior. I think if we all start leading by example here on these streets, especially when we are challenged, right? It's never when everything's going our way. It's when we're challenged. It's when we're, we feel like somebody's being rude to us, and how dare them. Pray for them and move on. All right? We've got to figure out how to tamper down some of the drama. The drama does not belong in true crime. Okay? There's a whole genre for drama. I promise you, they got a place. It's not here. They've got a place, and it's not here. All right, let me get these phones open, and you guys can call in. Let me know how you guys are doing this Manic Monday. All right, looks like let's check our speakers. Check our speakers. That's it. Let's check them. All right, sounds like we're on. All right, let me turn the phones on, folks. Let me turn the phones on. Where's my phones? There they are. All right, guys, the phones are on. The phone number here is 724-249-6140 for those that are up in the house that have an opinion to say about this case. I did a poll on Twitter, and, there for a week, it changed to Katie, and now it's back to Katie and Chris, at least on my poll. People believe Katie and Chris are in concert with one another in this. I even put someone else. I didn't put Seth on there, but I put someone else because Seth could be someone else. It could be grandma. It could be, I put someone else on there, and I'm telling you, 61%? Hold on. I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was a hefty, there was no disputing, oh, don't tell me. There it is. Oh, wow, 64%. Oh, I take my background off. Hold on a second. I'll take my background off. 21% someone else, and Katie and Chris. But look at the bottom, though. More people believe Katie would be responsible than Chris. So I really do believe we kind of have our consensus, to be honest with you, about who believes Chris or Katie, but it's people believe they both had a hand in it. But I kind of feel like Chris is the muscle. I kind of feel like he didn't do this. Like he wasn't there. He didn't have a hand in it. I feel like, is it possible that he got that call at 9:00 with Katie saying, "Oh, F, I think I unalived our son." And he's on the phone saying, "What did you do? What did you do? What did you do?" Did Katie just lose her ever-loving stuff and just snap? Honestly, I don't know. But her face right there, right here, She does look like she could. And now that's, that's just a view. How can we tell that with just a look? It's the eyes. It's always the eyes. Whenever you see somebody go to jail, what's the first thing you look at is their dead eyes. I've truly believed that something happens to somebody's eyes when they take somebody off of this earth. I believe that their eyes, something about them, they just go dark. No matter how bright your eyes are, they go dark. They go dark. But in my opinion, he was a mastermind. Well, some people believe, Stephanie, that this was premeditated, that this was all orchestrated, that, this was orchestrated for Chris to stay home or stay at the, campground, so he had no hand in it. And they, there's a whole host. One of my theories is this premeditation, but the premeditation was Chris, not Katie, because in that theory, it was based on that Katie did pass a polygraph, but honestly, I don't believe either one of them did. I think if Katie did a polygraph, I think hers came back inconclusive. And I also believe that they talked to an attorney enough to know that law enforcement will not release the findings of polygraph tests. And so that gives them an opening to manipulate that statement, knowing that the law enforcement's not going to come out and correct their statements. So they can pretty much tell us anything that they want to tell us, and there's no way for it to be corroborated, for us to corroborate it, unless he goes on someplace like the Nancy Grace show and takes the polygraph. And if he knows that he failed the polygraph, or he didn't take the polygraph with TBI, he's not going to take the polygraph with Nancy Grace. It's just not going to happen. It's not. Good morning, old Rusty. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. So that's kind of where we are, The mom, I keep beating on this because we don't really have any new information. I mean, there are some possibilities. We are learning that there are rumors that it's possible, and I don't care what anybody says out there on the streets of YouTube. There is a possibility that there are text messages, from what I'm understanding, that went to law enforcement that prove or acknowledge that Sebastian was having conversations with his grandmother, Katie's mom. Now, again, I have not seen these text messages. I'm just like everybody else out here in the public where, I'm hearing this. I didn't even hear it be released. Somebody said, did you hear it was released on this live on TikTok? And I'm like, no, I didn't hear it, And so if TikTok's one of those things, if you don't record it live, you're not going to get it. I mean, except for me, because I bring them over here and post my live so everybody gets to see them and it memorializes what we discussed. But over there, you don't. Once the live is over, it's over. So it's, I can't go back unless I'm the creator or I was, in the live itself, and I was not. So I can't go over there and preview it. So I don't know what was said. I don't know what's said. But what I heard is that there were some text messages submitted over to TBI. I didn't hear that it went to Sumner County. I heard it went to TBI, and that it was some information related to potential text messages or communications with Sebastian Rogers from the grandmother that he's not supposed to be having any contact with. They talk a lot of trash with no validity. Yeah, that's why I always have to be very careful what I say on here, because once upon a time when we first came out of here, there was a lot of legit information, but there's so many disgusting people out there that don't care about, helping this little boy. They think for whatever reason that we're trying to harm this child or something, that we're not really out here looking for this child. Like they're delusional. And so that because of that, they want to destroy any possibility of helping a person because of their deluded, messed up view of people. It's twisted, but they do it. I mean, people were actually trying to get the his vigil shut down, talking about, like, this The vigil last night was not being put on by Seth, despite what many people thought. It was being put on by an organization that reached out to both Seth as well as Chris and Katie. And Seth was the only one that reached out to him and willing to partner with them for the vigil, to speak at the vigil. That's what happened. And everybody was like, oh, they're trying to make it a money grab. Not one person was required to buy a hot dog or anything there. I'm so sick of the lies. And who did it hurt? It didn't hurt anybody, because people are, this is happening over and over again. It's losing its value by saying scam. Like, what's so sad is that these channels have screamed wolf so many times. When we do have a legit scam, nobody's going to believe them. Nobody. Because they've screamed scam so many times. Every single case, scam, 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 scams. Every single case. You tell me what case we've been involved in that somebody isn't screaming scam. Tell me. Scam, 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 scam. People saying that they were trying to do something at this vigil. This was put on by a completely third-party organization. And these are people that call themselves investigative journalists. Okay. Got it. Got it. Great investigative work there, buddy. Great investigative work. So I'm going to go ahead and close out this morning, to be honest with you. We don't really have a lot going over, and I was going to, T-Rev paid for the, see? There you go. T-Rev paid for the food. God bless him. God bless him. Thank you, Gree-Eye. Hey, Christy. Nice to see you down there. Well, that was very, very kind of him. But you see what I'm saying? And people were running that nonsense leading up to... It was for... Like, how heartless can you be to literally try to stop an event for a missing child? And people support people like that. I've never... And they think that they're doing something by hurting a child and a family. I've never seen such craziness in my life. What is wrong with people? What in the world is wrong with people? No, they're trying to save money for that freedom ride, right? They're side eyeing some motorcycles for that free ride. That when they're free. These people make me sick. Getting off the back of a motorcycle right after your son disappears. Motorcycles, to me, if you talk to any motorcycle, it's freedom. That's what people love about motorcycles. It's ride or die. Literally, it's freedom. It's a game of Russian roulette in some cases. Live free or die. Live free or die. And she's out looking at a motorcycle. I'll never, ever, ever get over that. I'll never, ever, ever get over that. That is the worst thing you could, that's just shit. That's like the worst thing you can freaking do. Have a missing child and go freaking, of all things, not car shopping, motorcycle shopping. My kid's gone. I can finally now have a motorcycle. What? I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, guys. Oh, somebody, right when I'm getting off, you guys decided to start blowing up the phones. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty. It's Barbara in Texas.
Oh, hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. Here's my concern. Of course, we all seen Seth and what happened before the vigil and the things that were said. And I cried.
Mm-hmm.
I prayed that day. What's going to happen when this man has a heart attack live on one of these shows.
I know.
It scares me.
It does. You know, he's not healthy. He's going through a lot. He's under a lot of stress. People aren't making it easy on him. You know, I can't even imagine what it's like not knowing where your own child is. I think people forget that, but I think the people that are doing this probably don't have children themselves and probably have no earthly idea what that feeling could possibly feel like.
I don't understand why people, even, you know, like yourself, I couldn't imagine you, if this, you know, if he was on your show, I couldn't imagine you not shutting it down.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so scary that there's people out there that all I could see is, oh my God, because my husband a few years ago had a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a scary thing. That's a very scary thing, and that's a very real thing. And Seth's blood pressure's got to be through the roof. That day,
I don't even want to know what it is.
I wish that his...
But you guys, I also got to think he's a smoker too.
Him.
He's a smoker too. So that means if he was a pack a day, he's probably 2 or 3 packs right now.
I would be right there with him if it were my grandbaby. There's no way. I can't blame anymore. Every day something different comes out, and I thought Quentin Simon case was awful. This one here's just, and Audrey Cunningham. This one here has gone on so long, and I think it touches a lot of our hearts. My son had a disability, and he passed away 20 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
This young man, I think that's why he's grabbed that beautiful smile that he's got. He's grabbed the whole world's attention, and we all want him to come home. Everybody's looking for somebody to blame. I'm at a loss. Here's my thing. If Katie, and I don't know how, but if Katie didn't have anything to do with this, I can't imagine what she's going through. But at the same time, if she did have something to do with it, I can't imagine what she's going through in her head. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Do I think Seth had anything to do with it? No. About Chris's mother. So I thought, and I've never jumped in on Chris's family on any of the conversations online or anything. But the thing with her is, my husband's up and out and about early. That's him. Some people are like that. Could she have been out and about and Katie or Chris said, hey, she needs support right now? Were they close? I've never heard anybody say if Katie was close to Chris's family.
No, they're in Gallatin, so they're about, I don't know, 45 minutes away?
The relationship, though, were they close that way? Have you heard anybody say?
No, but, the way, I analyze people, and the way that Chris's behavior is toward the females, it doesn't sound like he had a very close relationship with his mother, honestly. I mean, it sounds like he was with his mother, like his mother raised him, but it doesn't sound like he had a very good relationship with her growing up.
Well, I wonder if Katie has a good relationship with his mother. I don't know. I don't know at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know either. Everything I'm saying is just an assumption. Even the thought of him not having a good relationship with his mom is just based on, the way he treats women. So that's what's making me come up with that assessment, not that I know that for a fact.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say that about Seth. It really concerns me, and I'm afraid for him. I'm afraid for his health. I truly, truly am.
Yeah, that's really why I'm I came out swinging yesterday, because I'm concerned about him too, and I hope that things start dying down. It sounds like things might be taking a turn for the better. We'll just, we're not going to engage in it. We're just going to let it settle and keep moving forward and keep making it about Sebastian where it needs to be.
Yeah. That I hope all the channels can go to that. I mean, I've got a few that I don't want to ever see again.
Yeah.
Like you, I have blocked people. I don't say a word. I don't engage with them. I'm too old for that crap. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to block them. And when I see channels that are going after hard and heavy, or going after other YouTubers, like yourself, whether you're on YouTube or TikTok, if you're getting Sebastian's information out there, just get it out there. Don't attack each other. We're all here for one reason, to bring this young man home.
Yeah. And, there is, I want to address this, I'm not saying, that he doesn't need, that there's no criticism out there, but usually when we as a group decide to criticize somebody, or, if they're not a party to a crime, it's usually a one and done, look what we found, let's move on, but that wasn't the case here. It was just needlessly beating and clubbing this man over the head because they don't like somebody that he's choosing to work with. We don't have that choice. We don't make those decisions. And I think it's appalling that people think that they do, but law enforcement doesn't owe us anything, but a family that's never met us before does.
Well, I can tell you, if anything were to happen to my granddaughter, I've got a handful of YouTubers. Would I call the local news station? Yeah, but they're going to cover it for a day, maybe two. I would be calling YouTubers.
Yeah.
You would be first on my list. I've got you in my phone. You're not the only one.
I tell you, after 911, call Bullhorn Betty. I'm making fun of it, but truthfully, if it's a case that we take, we go all out on our cases. Like this one here, we would have been in the woods we would have already had a couple tours out there in the woods, it's just everything kind of, blech. We're not going to talk about it. We're just going to pray for a better day.
Everybody knows my granddaughter for 7 counties around, because everybody knows I was the mayor here in a small town, and there's 7 counties that work together, the sheriff's department, the judges. There's nobody that doesn't know her. My grandchild would be happy. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. My daughter and son-in-law know, you better walk the straight and narrow with this child.
Right.
But I understand. If they know the police officer there that well, calling him. But Katie, my opinion, Katie should have dialed 911. If Chris wanted to get involved while Katie's on 911, he could have been on the phone with the chief of police. Hey, this is what my wife's telling me.
Yeah.
2 different phone calls, not the same.
Yeah, that was weird. They were on the phone night before, then they're on the phone 3-way, and he calls law enforcement, and I'd like to hear that 911 call, but they're not going to release it like anything else. But I appreciate you calling, and thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great caller. Love that. Yeah. So we got a bunch of keyboard. Yeah. There's a lot. I think it's good. You know how I feel. I think we need to have, pro and against, because it's not fair for, even in these cases, that they have no one to kind of get their message out. It sucks that the message has to come out from one of those channels, but apparently like that is like the dirt. That would not be the channel I would want to improve my image on. I'm just saying. No offense to the lovers of that channel. No offense at all. But like, that's not, I would never, ever, ever use that channel of all channels. Like, I would take my chances. You have a better chance of getting a better image here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. I'm just saying, and that is absolutely, without a doubt, true. I didn't want it to be in your ear too much, so I turned the volume down just a little bit. So, yeah, people's gonna love who they want. I don't have any. I just think that based upon their description of me, I got no respect for them whatsoever. None. This is Betty.
Betty.
Hello, who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Green Eyed P.I.
Oh,
and,
hi, honey.
Hey, sweetie. I am in Virginia Beach. I am close to, well, not close to, but I know where Katie's family is.
Mm-hmm.
Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, all that, because I'm, thinking, and I do drive-bys, I'm not going to lie, to see if I see Sebastian. But I had sent you an email because I sent you the email because Chris had told me. I said, Chris, please just take a polygraph.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that would take the pressure off of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I have one scheduled.
But not with the Nancy Grace team.
No, he said he has one scheduled. He has one scheduled with Nancy Grace.
On here, it says April 4th. It says, thank you for your concern. Yes, I have one scheduled, just not with Nancy Grace's team.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the not. So, and that was from April. But see, I thought he said he was going to take one with TBI. And then all of a sudden, I get, word that he has, a bunch of attorneys coming in and out of his house for like 5 straight days in a row. So it made me feel like they were lawyering up. And
right. Now, when you said that the camper was kind of like a decoy.
Yeah, I think they're staying. I think they're periodically staying there. I just don't think they're staying there as much as people think they are.
Well, the first thing that came to my mind was the motor coach.
Do they have one?
Well, his parents do, remember?
Interesting. Yes.
And that can go anywhere, and they can, park it anywhere. They have, camps where they can park it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad, of course, stepdad, and his mom would know, and that would be a perfect. No one knows even what it looks like.
Yeah, that is true. And if the Bower Sox have the motor coach, who's to say that they are not staying in the motor coach at the Bower Sox? Like at
right.
their house, so they have their own different space.
Right. So, and if they were to pick it up, they could just pick it up at the business.
Yeah.
And, no one's thought of that. That's the first thing I thought of. I thought, oh, okay, well, they're probably, in the motor coach.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much, Green Eye PI. Thank you for that little tidbit of information. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, sweetie. I appreciate all your work.
God bless.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that's sweet. Interesting, I've kind of had this feeling like they're staying at a few different places because I don't feel like they're staying at the home. And I think that is problematic for many of us because we, as a public, when we start hearing people, especially a mother, not wanting to stay at the house that her child disappeared from and hasn't seen her child since he allegedly walked out of the home. It's hard for a mom to leave because they think the child's going to walk back in that home just as easily as they walked back. I mean, walked out. Think about the grieving process, right? There's a part where you're in denial, right? You're in denial that this is going on. Grief takes a while to get over. It's not something that you go through these phases quickly. It doesn't seem like if you look at the stages of grieving, let's talk about the stages of grieving. Hold on here. Okay, 7 stages of grief. Let's go through, and then they've got 5. Let's go to the 5. Let's see here. We've got stages of grief. We'll go to Healthline. Healthline is where I'm getting this article from, okay? Healthline.com. Stages of grief. And they're saying that there's 5 or 7 stages. The 5 stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. The 7 stages elaborated on these aim for the complexities of grieving for more effectively discussing them. So 5 stages of grief. We just went through those. Let me see if I can go down to the 7 one. See what 7 is. Okay, 7 stages of grief. Here we go. Shock and denial, pain and guilt, anger and bargaining, depression, the upward turn, reconstruction and working through, acceptance, and hope. Okay? So we have not, these are, people are talking about people grieve differently. Okay. You're right. Okay? We can ascertain people grieve differently. Some people grieve like Seth. When you push them too much, they are like a volcano. Right? And other people shut down. A few people are in between, depending on the situation. The problem is we've seen none of the grieving processes happening. We've never seen shock and denial on Katie's face. We've never seen pain. We've seen guilt, anger and bargaining, depression. We're not seeing any of the grieving processes happening. So the first one is denial. Grief is overwhelming emotion. It's not unusual to respond to the strong and often sudden feeling to be by pretending the loss or change isn't happening. Denying it gives you more time to gradually absorb the news and begin to process it. Well, we're 90 days in. When is she going to absorb the news and process it? I know that grieving for a child doesn't need a script. I can tell you that. There's no right way or wrong way to do it when you're truly grieving. I can tell you, I really, from an outsider looking in, can't tell the differences from one family to another when it comes to missing children, because they all look like they're grieving just about the same to me. It's hysterical. It's nonstop. It's a cry out of a mother that you do not ever want to hear. So this woman is not acting like any mom I've personally witnessed that has a missing child. Now, does that mean anything? No. Maybe the Navy hardened her. Maybe she just was taught not to show emotions publicly, right? Do you think when you lose somebody, your brain thinks like that? Like, don't show emotion. Keep it strong. You think that your body does that? When you start going, when it starts coming, it's not controllable. It's uncontrollable. And when I mean uncontrollable, I mean just that. It is not controlled. You have no control over the tears or or your body's shaking. It is uncontrollable. She has not been uncontrollable or inconsolable since the beginning of this and is motorcycle shopping. Enough said for me. Enough said for me. I can tell you, me personally, I truly do feel that law enforcement is looking square at the Proudfoots. There's no question in my mind. No matter what they say to the public, there's no question in my mind. There is only one person that had contact with this boy and access to this boy when he disappeared. And that is something law enforcement cannot shake. And they're not going to be able to. Because they have no proof this child walked out of that house. Let alone walked out of that house barefoot. So, All right, guys, go make it a great day. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, don't be part of the toxicity and be kind to one another. That is my only request. You know what? We see enough ugliness when we come to these streets. We see enough ugliness when it comes to these cases. We need to be the beacon of hope. We need to be the light that shines the brightest for these families. And I hope you guys all join me as we shine. God bless.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.